So my daughter sent me a text this morning, and I'm going to read it to you word for word. It says, "The Great Wall of China was built to keep people out, and people love the wall and want to visit it, but hate that Trump wanted to build one." And I thought to myself, holy shit, is she right? Like, the irony of it all. People spend buttloads of money to visit China, to see the Great Wall of China, yet here they spend money to go places and protest the wall that President Trump wanted to build. It's just very ironic. Also, on the way to school this morning, my child says to me, she goes, "Movies today suck." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, they're not good. Everybody's trying to be politically correct or trying to push this agenda or trying to watch the people's feelings and whatever else, which is why you'll notice today is my Fuck Your Sensitivity shirt, which goes for a lot of people and a lot of issues. But if you know, you know. She says, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie, but there's a movie called Team America, all right? And in Team America, it's a bunch of puppets, and it's from probably early 2000s. It's from the creators of South Park, actually. The Trey Parker, I think I'm making up names now. I don't know their names. Trey something or other and something or other. They're the makers or creators of South Park, and they made this movie called Team America. And it is the most politically incorrect, just shit show of a movie, but it's absolutely hilarious, and the soundtrack that goes along with it is absolutely hilarious. And we watched it one day because I wanted her to see what movies used to be like before people got their panties in a wad and everybody was butthurt over everything, right? So we watched Team America, and now she's like, we need another Team America. Like, who's gonna come out and make another Team America movie? And it's just funny to me that here we are, it's the year 2025. We are on the cusp of 2026. It is literally right around the corner, and it's still one of those things where, heaven forbid you say the wrong thing because somebody's gonna cry or get butthurt over it, or take to Instagram or Facebook or social media in general to air their grievances, to quote Seinfeld. And I don't know. I told my daughter this morning, I said, listen, I don't know if it's more of a left thing, if it's a right thing, if it's down the middle thing, or if it's just a whatever your personality happens to be type of thing. But I do feel like we have become such a soft people that it's absolutely ridiculous. I can take criticism, and I can take a joke, and I can take, people talking shit or profiling or stereotyping or whatever else, but for some reason other people, even if you're telling the truth, they get so butthurt and bent out of shape that they don't know what to do with themselves. And it's like, when did we become so effing sensitive to everything? Literally everything people are sensitive about, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. So my daughter and I had that conversation, right? And then it reminded me of this thing that I sent myself that I wanted to share with y'all, which we're going to do right now, because it's a comedian who, you guys know that comedians these days are either trying to push the envelope as far as humanly possible to see what will happen, or they're so worried about that envelope even getting looked at that they've toned down everything. And it's like, this isn't funny. What are we doing here? But there's this comedian named Riley something or other. Let me see if I can find his name here. I pulled this off of Instagram. I took screenshots of everything. And his name is Riley Mitchell, Real Riley Mitchell on Instagram. And I haven't seen his stand-up. I'm not even going to pretend like I've seen his comedy. But he showed up as a, suggested or whatever they call it on Instagram, and I took screenshots, literally screenshots of all of the things that he put in his Instagram story, because I wanted to share it with y'all, because it's interesting to me how it kind of plays into where we are right now with the divide on how people think the United States of America should be versus what it shouldn't be. And so this is what he says, right? He said, this is the back of it. Hold on. Obviously I did not send these to myself in any specific order. What are we doing here? Hold on. He says, just to clear the air, I'm a conservative, but that doesn't mean what a lot of you apparently think it does. Let's break it down, because I'm tired of being told what I believe and what I stand for. Spoiler, not every conservative is the same, but most of us I know share these same principles, which is why we're having this conversation, because it does come down to the general principles of things. And I'm trying to go in order, even though, my email sent it to me all out of whack. So number one is, I believe America should never depend on another country for energy, protection, or basic supply and demand. We are strongest when we build, produce, and protect things right here in the USA, which I fully 100% agree with. Yes, we do rely on other countries for a lot of things. Other countries rely on us for a lot of things, like coffee. We're not going to grow coffee here in the United States of America. Most of it is grown in Brazil, Ethiopia, Kenya, Costa Rica, places with rainforests and whatnot. We rely on them for coffee. I'm okay with that. We don't need to rely on them for beef, chicken, pork. We have all of those things here. We need to rely on ourselves for those kind of things, right? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I'm going to try to go in order. He says, I believe America must put itself first. We cannot pour from an empty cup. Our country should prioritize our own people before trying to save the world. Which is everything I say to you guys, which I 100% agree with. Why are we consistently sending our men and women to other countries to help them get their shit in order when we need to get all of our stuff in order here? Portland, Chicago, San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York. I could go on, but I think you guys see where I'm going with this, and also probably notice that there is a color scheme that goes along with this. I'm talking blue before anybody goes and gets racist in the comment section. I'm talking blue, number one. Okay, so then the third one here says, dun, 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 if I can find it, because everything's out of order, because my email sucks. Where are we? Stick with me. Hold on. Number three, I believe America should stay out of endless foreign conflicts. I don't know, Israel, Gaza, maybe, what are we talking about? Ukraine, Russia, a little bit of that. I believe America should stay out of endless foreign conflicts. We are not the world's sugar daddy, and we shouldn't act like it. Yet, past presidents have given our tax dollars away willy-nilly to the highest, I want to say bidder, because that's kind of what it feels like. The ones who are going to, kiss the U.S.'s ass the most or threaten them the most. I'm not quite sure why we spend the money that we spend, where we spend it. I'm not a fan of the fact that we're still sending stuff to Ukraine under President Trump. I was really thinking there was going to be a stop to that. However, not quite yet. Number 4 here, if I can find it. Number 4 says, dun, 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 I believe no foreign aid should be given until every veteran at home is taken care of. That includes Israel, Ukraine, and any other nation. 1000% agree. Driving here where I'm parked right now, I passed a man on the side of the road. It says he's a veteran, and he's asking for a handout. Do I know for a fact he's a veteran? No. Can I prove it? No. Do I feel bad that there's a man sitting on the side of the road in the United States of America asking for a handout? Yes. I will always feel bad about that. There's obviously going to be reasons why some people are on the side of the road asking. Sometimes it's just a grift. They just want to see what they can get away with. Sometimes it's because that's probably where they belong. And sometimes it's because they have literally been dealt a shit sandwich and it is not their fault at all. Whatever. Okay. I don't like seeing that here on soil, home soil, no matter what. All right, number 5. What does this one say? Number 5 is, I believe immigrants make America stronger when they come legally. If your first act in this country is breaking the law, you are not an upstanding citizen. That being said, our immigration system is broken. No one should have to wait 3 years for citizenship. I also agree on this. There are plenty of people I know that are trying to get their citizenship, that have been working on it diligently for years upon years, who are completely upstanding citizens, who have families, who work jobs, who pay W-2s, who are just pillars of the community, and it's taking them forever and a day and a ton of money to boot to get a citizenship. And it's like, why does it take so long for the ones who should be legally here to get that legalization versus the ones that shouldn't be here, that are still getting free health care, free this, free that, been here 30 years, have never even tried to be legal, have never even tried to get a green card, a work visa, legal citizenship, nothing. And yet, we have the Democrats fighting for them tooth and nail all day long. But anyway, number 6, let me see what we got here if I can find it. I believe in freedom when it comes to marriage. You can marry who you want. I may not agree with your lifestyle, but it doesn't harm me or children. It's none of my business. I actually do agree with that. You guys know, and I've lost a lot of people for thinking this way and saying this, but I do believe the majority of gay people are born that way. I fully believe that. I do not think trans is a real thing. We can have a conversation on this all day long if you want. Some people say it's hypocritical. Don't really give a shit. I don't think anybody's born in the wrong body. I do think people love who they love, right? Like, unfortunately, and I've said it before, if you were blind and deaf and well, how do we do this? If you were, okay, how about this? If you could not see the person, everything was through typed words, you would not know if it was a man or a woman who you were falling in love with. You also wouldn't know what skin color they had, any of these kind of things, which is why, to me, falling in love with somebody of a different race or of the same sex, it kind of goes hand in hand a lot of the time, because if you take out the visuals of things, you're falling in love with the person, not what they happen to look like or what, sex they happen to be. So, but anyway, that's that one. Number 7 here is, dun, 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 we're going to find it. I believe men are men and women are women. Yes, 1000%. Surgery or hormones don't change that. Men should use men's bathrooms and women should use women's bathrooms. Agreed. 100%. No matter what. There has been times where I have needed to use the bathroom and there's a long ass line outside the women's restroom and the men's restroom is open. I could go use the men's restroom, but I'm not going to. Just like if there happened to be a line at the men's restroom but none at the women's, I would not want that man in the women's restroom as a full ass man. I sure as shit don't want men dressed as women in the women's restroom, because that is, parading yourself around as something that you're not, and to me it's always going to be sketchy. But this one I agree with. Number 8, I believe schools are for education, not indoctrination. Kids should learn math, history, reading, and science, not political propaganda. They should not be taught they were born in the wrong body or pushed into gender delusion, which is why a lot of people are trying homeschool now. They may not have wanted to do it during COVID when a lot of people were kind of pushed into it because of the school shutdowns. As soon as schools open back up, people are like, nope, this is not for me. Send their kids back to public school. Well, now we see the indoctrination that is happening. You see the teachers that are going in there that are putting up trans flags, gay flags, pride flags, whatever else, that are putting up Free Palestine, that are putting up Israel flags, that are putting up all these different things to push a political agenda, to push a gender agenda, who bring their personal lives into school. When I was in school, I did not know how many kids my teacher had, who they were married to, where they lived, how much they made, what their sexual preference was, what their political preference was. None of that shit. You know why? Because they were my teacher and I was their student, and that should never be a cross line. Today, everybody knows everything about everybody, and your teacher's OnlyFans account, how many people she's sleeping with, her political whatever, who, they're all on TikTok ranting and raving or whatever else. I don't think that's okay. I think there should be a hard line when it comes to teachers and things like that. What number are we on now? Number 9. Let's find it here. Number 9. I believe America is in a mental health crisis. Mental health care is real. It matters, and it desperately needs to be addressed. I agree. And that mental health crisis, unfortunately, is pushed by the left. The same ones who are convincing children that they are the wrong sex, who are convincing boys and girls that they like the wrong, that they're gay, or convincing boys and girls that they need to fight for, whatever other country. Like all these things. There is definitely a mental health crisis, but a lot of it comes down to what we are allowing in TV shows, in movies, what's in songs, what the people that they're looking up to are doing and dressing like and acting like. A lot of that comes down to that. Number 10, which I love. I believe guns aren't the problem. People are. Gun control only infringes on constitutional rights, but I also believe in common sense. Background checks are necessary to keep firearms out of the hands of the mentally ill. Not everybody who is mentally ill is going to pop up in a background check, so that's the part I don't agree with. But guns are not the problem. Without a finger on the trigger, that gun's not going to do anything. Without somebody putting a bullet in it, that gun's not going to do anything. Guns are not a problem. People are the problem. Taking guns away from people who know how to use them correctly and know when and when not to use them is not the answer, because the people who should not have them will still have them. And that, I think, is a very big point to make, especially when, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we have seen news story after news story after news story of gun violence, and it's all designed to push the it's all designed to push the right and left to agree on gun control and taking away your Second Amendment right. That's what I think. That's why I think we're being overrun on social media and mainstream media and everywhere else with all these gun violences. They're not putting up the ones where people are getting stabbed. They're not putting up the ones where people are just beating the shit out of each other and something's happening. They're not putting up the ones with car accidents or anything else. It's always the gun violence that they push, because that's what they continuously try to take away from us, is our Second Amendment right. So I that one I agree with him on completely. And he says, I'm a conservative because I believe in faith, family, freedom, and personal responsibility. I don't want a government that controls every aspect of our lives. I want a government that protects our rights, secures our borders, defends our freedoms, and then gets out of the way. Which I feel like, honestly, is what President Trump and his cabinet are doing, are trying to do, and will do over the next 3.5 years, 3.25 years. And he says here, while I enjoy talking about politics, I refuse to turn my platform into nothing but politics. A wise man named Charlie Kirk once told me that we won't bring people into the conservative movement by speaking in an echo chamber, which I would like to talk about also, this echo chamber thing. You guys know that I scroll X all the time looking for what's going on, because a lot of people will post stuff that isn't being seen in other places, right? So I scroll X a lot looking for what's happening. And I notice that it really does start to feel like an echo chamber after a while. Everybody on the right saying the exact same thing. Everybody on the left saying the exact same thing. And it's like, when did we lose our ability to form our own opinions, think for ourselves, have conversations instead of just parroting every single thing that we're heard? You can see it, especially with the left, unfortunately, when they have some agenda that they're on. Every single politician on their side, whether it's AOC, it's Jasmine Crockett, it's Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, you got freaking Hakeem Jeffries, what do they call him, the Timu Obama or whatever. You have all of them posting basically the same wording, the same phrases over and over and over. And it's like, how is this helpful? It just shows that you all are falling in some weird line with whatever the current divide agenda is, instead of using your brain, having a conversation in a way that makes sense for the people who look up to you, agree with you, want to learn from you. And I'm not a fan of it. The same thing happens on the right, unfortunately. It's the same stories that are just regurgitated over and over and over. I've had a lot of y'all that are like, hey, Michelle, I miss when you used to talk about this and this and this. And I understand, I enjoy talking politics during the election period. I enjoy talking it now when it warrants it. But I don't want to bring you the exact same thing that 75 other people are doing, because to me, it's not interesting. And I don't want to just talk about something because somebody else is talking about it. I would much rather talk to you guys about things that obviously spark something within me that make me want to have that conversation, that I have an opinion on, that I have facts on, or that I don't have facts on and just opinion and want to learn more about. Like, to me, that's the important part of what this platform is and who I am. When we were talking during the election period, we were talking about things that a lot of people didn't know, like Tim Walz type things. We were also talking about Kamala Harris, obviously, and Tim Walz and whatnot. But it was from a standpoint or a viewpoint of me not really being into politics until this political season, because I didn't know any better, and I was learning, and I'm still learning, and I still see things that I'm like, how is this the way our country is run? Like, I need to understand, how did we get to this point in any of this? And so those are the conversations that we have. But anyway, this to me all goes together in the whole sense of when I have a 16-year-old, barely 16-year-old, who's saying to me, what is wrong with our country where we have to tiptoe around because if you say the wrong thing, people are going to get butt hurt. People are going to get hurt, like physically hurt. People are going to lose their jobs. People are going to this and that. And it's like, we have become a nation of pussies, unfortunately, and that's the nicest way I know how to say it. Not everybody, obviously. If you feel triggered and the shoe fits, I guess fucking wear it, but it's not like I'm talking to you. I'm just in general talking, right? But I think that as we go along in these next 3.25 years, I don't know, I guess it's 3.25 because we're in October already, so yeah, 3.25 years of President Trump and his administration, there may be times where I go, I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't agree with what our president is doing. I don't agree with what is happening here in the U.S. And guess what? That is okay. I need y'all to also know that is okay to not agree with every single thing that President Trump does. But it's also one of those things of the second somebody says that, they're like, oh, so you're a rhino and you don't agree with him. But no, this is one of those things where if you consistently blow steam up somebody or blow smoke up somebody's ass so that they are all inflated, there's no truth or accountability. I don't really know how to phrase any of this. This happens to me a lot. It's very upsetting. But there will be times where you don't agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. I don't expect you to agree with me on everything. Just like I don't agree with my husband on everything. I don't agree with my child on everything. I don't agree with my mom on everything. I'm not going to agree with the president on everything. I'm not going to agree with so-and-so on everything. That's what makes us great, right? The fact that we can disagree on things, have the conversation about them, and then either move on or move forward with this new level of agreement, right? So that's, I don't really know where the hell I was going with that, but whatever. We're going to talk about what we're going to talk about here. YouTube is being, gay. And if you're triggered by that, I don't know what to tell you. But that's, I could say retarded, but people get all bent out of shape about that one too. But that's how I feel. And because of my conversation with my daughter this morning, I'm just going to use whatever words pop into my head. And YouTube is being all of that right now because they want to push left agenda and dissatisfaction with the right agenda. And I'm not willing to jump on that bandwagon to get views, because to me that's disgusting, right? So we're going to continue to have the conversations we're going to have. 5 of y'all might see it, 5,000 of y'all might see it, maybe one day 100,000 of y'all see it. It is what it is. But we're going to have the conversations that matter to me, because this is my channel, and because I like to have these kind of conversations with y'all, because I appreciate your input and the way you view things, and the way you will either correct me on stuff, or the way you will give me a different angle to look at things, or a different thought to go, oh, I didn't think of it like that. Which is why I'm always telling y'all to comment, because I appreciate it, because it opens up the dialogue. It opens up the ability to have new insights, to think new things, to form new opinions, to grow as a person, right? So that's that. But at the end of the day, honestly, fuck your sensitivity. That's just how I feel about stuff. People get so butthurt over everything. If I get butthurt, I tell you, I'm like, listen, you're being a see you next Tuesday, and you move on with it. But there's too many people now that get butthurt and just let it ruin their entire lives. I don't want us to be like that. You know what I mean? So, y'all, I don't know where I'm going with that. It's just the mood that I'm in today. So I'm sharing it with you because I love y'all immensely. I guess that's it for now. I'm sure I'll see you guys again later. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. I'd like your thoughts on all of this. If you've ever seen Team America, I would love to know your thoughts on it. There's a song by Kim Jong-un in it where he goes, I'm so Ron-Ree, because Asian people can't say L's, which is fucking hilarious, right? Anyway, the song is hilarious, and it plays on repeat in my brain, and I don't know why. That's it. I'll let you guys go now. And I will see you a little bit later. Have a fabulous rest of your day until I see you again. Goodbye.